Hello. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about some sources of harm, particularly suffering, unnecessary suffering that occurs within the self, and impacts can impact another or others, but it primarily occurs within the self and is situated in the self and the surroundings, and how we can alleviate that suffering. It's associated with a lot of disorders, illnesses, diseases, pathologies, even temporary pain or just momentary pain, situational discomfort, negative feelings, negative emotions. And it can relieve these through primarily perception and also our actions and our behaviors and subsequent feelings and emotions and motivations. And what I want to primarily talk about here is things like perfectionism, fixations, and attachments that occur internal to our perceptions, our direct perceptions, or even our indirect perceptions, our thoughts, our feelings, cognitions that arise, even it can be ideologies, it can be negative self perceptions of the self, like negative self perceptions rather than just negative perceptions per se. It can include self-denial, it can include self-neglect or self-ignorance, particularly those. Not so much self-doubt, because self-doubt can in some cases be a positive, can open us up to opportunities, but it can have negative effects, can lead to uncertainty about the self. And what perfectionisms and fixations and attachments do is they narrow our focus, and they tend to create suffering and pain through uh, forming too close of an attachment to ideas, thoughts, or feelings. And perfectionism, in particularly, they specify an ideal that's false or illusory, and which is harmful. It's unattainable. This idea of perfectionism, and perfection itself, it's unattainable. And so when you're striving for these, you're putting all this effort for a goal that you can't ever really achieve. And this leads to a bunch of fixations and attachments because you become so caught up in something that's arguably impossible to achieve. And so it's important to be able to create some space between that and to form proper associations through alignment, and also stepping back and creating this detachment and locating the situated self, not just the self, but the situated self, what you are, exist in relation to the surroundings, to surrounding knowledge, to direct experiences, direct perceptions, direct thoughts, feelings, cognitions, direct actions or behaviors, direct emotions. And through those direct experiences, direct perceptions, that's how we can start to build these relations between things and recognize situated knowns, situated information, situated meaning, situated components in relation to ourselves, and to form proper alignments, and to also establish detachment from these negative, harmful attachments, fixations, and perfectionisms. And fixations, in particularly, they focus too much on a narrow set of characteristics or information that they tend to be judgment based, or they tend to be established as knowns without actually knowing, or as true without actually having truth. And they tend to be also very associated with dogmas. They tend to be very quick made, and uh, they tend to also compile a lot of information such as feelings, emotions, and supposed knowledge, or supposed beliefs that things are true without question. So fixations tend to hyper focus on things, and they can produce obsessions and disorders, illness, and disease through, again, more of this attachment. But they're also deeply related to perfectionism. And again, going back to how we resolve that is to generate space through recognizing the self in relation to different aspects of our surroundings, and which situates the self to the surroundings, allows us to form these relations to various knowns, information components, our emotions, cognitions, motivations, even philosophy and reasoning too. These can be very transformative and powerful in terms of releasing us from our own suffering and pain, and it can also positively contribute to the well-being of others around us too. And that's all I really wanted to say on those topics.